Welcome to Wall Banging Paint Schemes, where every week I go through all of my favorite paint schemes from the Trucks, O'Reilly Series, and the NASCAR Cup Series. And of course, let me know in the comments what are your favorite paint schemes for each and every week. Also, like and subscribe. This week, the Daytona 500, the United Rentals 300, and the Fresh from Florida 250. Let's go through some paint schemes. Well, we'll start in the Craftsman Truck Series, and we'll start with a couple of teams first. Nice Motorsports, of course, bringing out all the Greg Biffle inspired, well, not inspired paint schemes, but they brought out all the Greg Biffle fonts. I would say Cletus, aka Garrett Mitchell, his paint scheme in the number 4 is probably inspired a lot by the National Guard, 3M schemes that the Biff used to have. Of course, the Biff being a huge mentor towards Cletus McFarland, a great friend for Travis Pastrana. Andres Perez, I'm not sure if Andres Perez ever met Greg Biffle, but he is part of the team. And then also, of course, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I'm very excited to see how this team does tonight. I am recording this on early Friday morning, so I'm very excited to see how they do tonight. But some nice looking paint schemes. The Biff would be very proud. And here we go. We have Colleague Ram here, y'all. Colleague Ram. Ram is back in the Craftsman Truck Series, and we have 5 trucks here that we're looking at. We got Daniel Dye, we got Butterbean, we got Minnie Tyrell, we have Tony Stewart, of course. The Smoke Show is back, and then Justin Haley as well. So this looks great. This is dope. I'm very excited to have Ram back. Back in the day, if I had to pick my favorite manufacturer when we had 4 or 5 manufacturers, was Dodge. I was always a big fan of Dodge. Of course, when I was a little one, I would pick Pontiac, but that's just because I grew up a Bobby Labonte fan. But love Dodge. I love Dodge, and Ram is back, and hopefully Dodge moves in not too long after into the O'Reilly Series and Cup Series. I know they want to try to get a next gen car next year. I don't know if that's a little too much too early or not, but we'll have to see. I do expect him in the O'Reilly Series though next year. I always like flames on a race car, and this Canes 27 with Tony Breidinger, it looks nice. It looks nice. I was very surprised by her last second move to War Rackley. Very, very, very last second move over there. She has a part-time effort over there this season, but this is a very sweet looking Canes Chevrolet. So Chandler Smith is driving the fish car from the fish fillet commercials. Give me that fillet fish. Give me that fish. No, it says trophy catch. That's very interesting. Definitely has my attention. Might not be the greatest looking paint scheme, but at 120% has my full attention, and that's good branding. We'll move on to the O'Reilly Series, formerly known as the Xfinity Series, and we got a driver in a new ride. I like to call him Mr. Crocker. Big fan of this guy, Parker Retzloff, driving the number 99 Funkaway Chevrolet. This is a slick looking vehicle. I'm excited to see how Parker does this year. Him and Anthony Alfredo with that RCR connection now with Viking Motorsports. Viking is on the up and up. I would say Viking is on the up and up, and this is a very slick looking scheme. I would say Alfredo's scheme is pretty slick as well. Now this one is an interesting one. I haven't seen this one on track yet, so I'm not sure how it will look on track. Some cars look better on track than they do in pictures. Some cars look better in pictures than they do on track. This is definitely it definitely catches my eye. This overplay Chevrolet driven by Austin Green. Of course, Austin Green, the son of David Green, former Busch Series, now O'Reilly Series champion. And I don't know if I like it or not. It's definitely interesting. I like the lightning. It looks like we got like Woody on a horse or something on the side of this thing here. So I'm for it. We'll see how it looks on track though. Probably my favorite paint scheme in the O'Reilly Series this weekend for the United Rentals 300. Jeremy Clements just having that full chrome 51. Obviously, in the pictures. The chrome isn't going to do justice in pictures like this, like little designs, little edits, little graphics like this. We need to see this car on track, and that 51 is going to pop. I like the lightning bolt on the side. It's simple but has flair at the same time. I like this one. I'm really into this one. I'm very interested to see how this one does under the lights. Dean Thompson driving the Thompson Pipe Group Toyota. I like the black camo on this thing. I'm very interested to see how this looks under the lights. I think it's really gonna the black camo is really gonna pop under the lights. I'm a big fan of this. Justin Allgaier always gets so creative with his paint schemes. I think Ryan Williams, big guy over at Junior Motorsports, does a bunch of paint schemes. I don't know if he makes all of Justin Allgaier's paint schemes or not, but Justin Allgaier's paint schemes are they're always pretty special and very interesting. It looks like, what is that? Like somebody getting poured a glass of tea or some soda or soda pop or something? I don't know. But it's interesting for sure. It definitely stands out, and Brandt just lets them do whatever they want. I'm a big fan of what Brandt does when it comes to NASCAR and Junior Motorsports, especially. Big fan of them. They've been around for a while now with Justin Allgaier. Been a big-time sponsor for him for a long time. So they're going to let him do what he wants. Okay, this is sick. Carson Quaffle in this number 1. This is a sick paint scheme, a very interesting camo, the orange swoosh or whatever you want to call it on the side, the little squiggles. I fucks with this. This is clean. This is what I like to call clean. That's nice. It's nice. Very purdy. All right, now we are on to the NASCAR Cup Series, the Daytona 500. We're going to go through some of our favorite schemes now that we have the starting lineup for the Daytona 500. Going to go through some of my favorite Daytona 500 schemes, starting with SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen. I liked this. I loved the way this car looked on track. Honestly, in this picture right now that I have on screen, doesn't quite do it justice, I would say, but on track, this thing was chef's kiss. It looked great under the lights with the green lightning bolts on the side, and it's just such a deep black underneath that. I love it. So this will be Zilich's primary scheme throughout most of the season, I'm thinking. Can never go wrong with the Red Bull car. Red Bull cars are always just sweet. They always look sweet. The number 88 fits this great. I love how they did the little red outline around the number. It looks fantastic. This is a great scheme. I saw this scheme on track during the duels, the Michael McDowell Moto Casino. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Moto or Moto Casino. I'm not sure which it is. And this scheme obviously screams America. America got an eagle on the front. On track, it looked a little clunky, though. I'm not going to fake. I don't think the scheme looked that good on track, but it's America. So I like the scheme, I guess, because America, and you got an eagle on the front. You got the field of blue designed more like playing cards because of it being casino. The red and white stripes. I see what they're doing. It doesn't really work for me, though. Okay, Willie B's Raptor Chevrolet. He's going for 3 in a row. He has to go to a backup car, it sounds like. So I'm not sure if he's still going to have this paint scheme or if it could be something different. We've seen over the last couple of years, drivers don't have a paint scheme anymore once they go to the backup because there's only so many backup cars. But hopefully this scheme's able to run because it's just beautiful. I just always love flames on a car, and it looks wonderful. It just looks wonderful. So Xfinity, no longer the primary sponsor of the secondary series, the Grand National Series, Busch Series, Nation, whatever you want to call it. No longer the sponsor over there, and it's taking a bigger role over at 2311 Racing, becoming the primary sponsor. 2311 no longer has McDonald's. They have Hardee's now. So a lot of changes going on over there at 2311. Well, especially with Bubba's team, sponsorship-wise at least, not necessarily anywhere else, but sponsorship-wise is what I'm talking about. And overall, this is a decent-looking scheme. I'm not going to say it's insane. It's not like the best scheme I've ever seen. It's overall pretty basic. I like purple. It's a decent scheme. It's not bad. Now this right here, this is the race winning scheme right here. The jalapeno lime zone nicotine pouches, the number 8, Kyle Busch, Rowdy, he's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to win the Daytona 500 this year. And I can't wait to see this scheme in victory lane. Austin Dillon with the Kevin Harvick throwback for Bass Pro Shops. I saw pictures of this car, like graphics and stuff, before we had the Clash. And before we had the Clash, I'm like, this car is ugly. I honestly didn't think it looked very good. I knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to throw it back to Kevin Harvick's GM Goodwrench car from like the early to mid 2000s. It was kind of his third big time primary scheme with GM Goodwrench. And I saw what they were doing, but I from the graphics, I'm like, it don't work. It doesn't work for me. But when I saw it on track at the Clash, I'm like, all right, that's beautiful. And then they updated the nose now for the Daytona 500. It has a more accurate nose. So I love this. I love this paint scheme. It's one of my favorite paint schemes I've ever seen Austin Dillon drive. I assume this is the new Busch Light primary scheme that we're going to be seeing throughout most of the year. And I freaking love it. I love it. I love the mountains on the side. I love the dark blue number. It's different. It stands out compared to a lot of the rest of the field. Most of the rest of the field, it's going to be white, just a white number. You'll get your yellow numbers in there occasionally and some other colors here and there. But to have this dark blue number, I think it's very different. And they're using the next gen sponsorship correctly. They have Busch Light down the whole side across the door. They have the mountains on the door. This is how you're supposed to do a paint scheme in the next gen era with the numbers now moved forward on the door. This is just the correct way to do it. Zilich, I would say, is the same in the 88. They're using the next gen style of paint scheme in the correct way. And I love this paint scheme. We started this with Biff paint schemes. Let's finish this with Biff paint schemes. Obviously, everybody paying homage to the Biff this weekend. Probably the greatest humanitarian that NASCAR has ever seen. One of the greatest people involved with NASCAR, period. And a lot of people are paying their tributes to him this weekend, which I greatly respect. NASCAR as a whole paying their tributes to him this weekend, as they did at the Clash as well. I just love to see it. All these paint schemes look pretty nice, but they're all paying homage to the Biff. Of course, you have Brad Keselowski in the number 6. AJ Allmendinger and Colleague agreed to bring back the Greg Biffle font and put it on that 16 car. Probably had to get permission from Roush as well, but I assumed Roush was immediately was like, yeah, do that. That's badass. Because that, honestly, the yellow number, the Greg Biffle yellow number fits the Celsius scheme and everything. It works out perfectly. I think that's really cool of Colleague to do that. Of course, Chris Buescher in the 17, Ryan Preece in the 60. Corey LaJoie didn't make the race, but he had a very sick-looking number 99 as well. So this is just awesome to see all these Biff cars out here this weekend. We got some trucks. We got some cup cars. It's awesome to see. Be like Biff, all right? But that'll do it for wall-banging paint schemes. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite paint schemes for Daytona 500 weekend, whether that is from the Great American Race, the United Rentals 300 with the O'Reilly Series, or the Fresh from Florida 250 with the Craftsman Truck Series. Let me know your favorites in the comments, and of course, like and subscribe.